Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, TheRumpledOne, coming to you on Sunday, December the 11th. The year's 2022. Let's talk trading. Weekly open and gap. These videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine. So let's go ahead and take a look at the week. So far, we are 20 pips below the weekly open. We filled the gap on the pound, but we do have a bunch that have not filled the gap right now. Zooming out to the monthly, we are still positive for the month, and we're above the previous month's high, and we're sitting at 173 pips above the monthly open, 186 above the low, and 116 below the high. We're putting in the opening range for the week, and we are still within the opening range for the month. We're still above the yearly midpoint, which is 120.53. We're below the yearly open by 1,297 pips, below the high by 1519, and we are above the low by 1871. We are within the inside bar from 18 weeks ago and from 6 days ago. So inside bar traders, you might see some action on the pound dollar this week. And if you take a look at the dashboard, there are a lot of inside bars to be traded across the different pairs. Right now, we are only 7 hours into the trading day, and right now the pound's sitting at a 49 pip range, and only one pair, the pound Aussie, is over 100 pips. You can see here at the buy zone, I wonder why I had that set at M30. Normally we look at the M1, or rather the H1 on the buy zone. You can see here we've crossed the weekly open to the downside one time. And it looks like we are in a ranging or accumulation phase right here. Looking to the left, you can see all these wicks that this current price is cutting across on the H1. We don't have enough range on the rat zone right now. We need a little bit more to trade the rat zone. I mean, you could trade the rat zone here, but it's not recommended. Like to have a little more range so price can go between the current daily high, current daily low. This right here, this is a possible return bar. Nice big bar there. Let's see, Bambino Flex says go short at the pivot, or to be trading short today. We've opened below the pivot, the daily pivot, and near the pivot it says go short. We still haven't hit the monthly pivot. We've already taken out the weekly pivot, and we have taken out the daily pivot. So we have one missed pivot so far in December, 2 in November, 1 in October, couple in April, 3 in March, 1 in February, and 1 in January. So this year so far has been a crazy year in terms of missed pivots on the daily. You usually don't have that many missed pivots in a year, but this has been a strange year anyway. We're in the lower wick zone right now. As you can see, price started up here in the upper wick zone, came down into the lower wick zone. And we popped out of that lower wick zone a couple of times, but not by much. And the range, once again, is only 49, nothing to write home about. We haven't broken out of the previous week's high or low. So not much to see here. Okay, looking at the Walmart lines, you can see here we really don't have much range to write home about. So there's really not too many trades there on the Walmart lines. And you know, the Walmart line's one of the simplest trades. And I saw something today, and what it basically says, to distill it, do you really need to add something, or is it possible you need to take away something when you're trading? And, when you're trading with the Walmart lines, there's not much left to take away, really. There really isn't. I mean, this is about as simple as you can get, trading with candle color at the line. I mean, that's pretty much the essence of trading when you think about it. Doesn't matter what method you use, you're going to have a point, and through that point, you can draw a horizontal line. And if price crosses it going up, you pretty much go long. And if price crosses it going down, you pretty much go short. That's the essence of trading. I mean, just that entry. And then after you're in the trade, now you have to manage the money, manage the risk, and you have to manage the trade. So, if your method's telling you to stay in it, but your emotions telling you to get out, can you follow your plan, or do you succumb to your emotions? I know it's tough. It really is. Sometimes I'll do something and I say, yeah, I'm believing my own press releases, meaning you don't want to believe your own BS. But there's certain things, you see them over and over again. Sometimes they work, maybe most of the time they work, but sometimes they don't. Price entering the launch pad for me, that 40 line, I'm probably going to hit 50 or 60 if it hits 40. That's just the way this pound dollar seems to move. Does it work every time? No, no, no. But it works more than enough times that I can trade that with some degree of confidence. And it really is that simple. But a lot of traders like to, put their beliefs, their concepts, their own words, or phrases. Because hey, you could say that, well, Rumpledone, you do that. You've got wick zones, you've got rat zones, you've got this, you've got that, and sure. But when you distill it, it gets down to the essence. Trading at a horizontal line. Yeah, sure, we can have patterns like, you see, we have a turn trade here because we have a red candle followed by basically a green. Right here, you'd want to go high, or you'd want to go long at this high, and you see, you could have made a few pips there. Turn trade off the bottom, because if price were to go up another 1,000 pips, this pattern right here is always going to be, it's going to be at the bottom. The thing is, it can't be anything else. It's just like here. Price goes up, then price starts to come down, and then maybe it continues down. So right here at the top, you're going to have a green followed by a red. That's a pattern that can't be refuted. I mean, you say, well, that's a doji. Well, okay, so it's a doji. Point being, you could call a doji a red or a green, or you could say it's yellow, it's neutral, or it's gray, it's neutral. Bottom line is, we had a switch in direction. And this is something, this top can only be known basically in hindsight. You have to see what price does, because it could go down and then flip and continue to the north, to the upside. You just don't know it yet. I mean, right here, there was an opportunity, but you see it didn't break that high, so there was no trade. Here, once again, you see that pattern, red, green, go long at the line. There was some profit to be had. But a lot of traders, they really want to focus on the entry, finding that system that's going to make them a winner. But the system's not going to make them a winner. What's going to make them a winner is how the trader trades it, how they use their money management, how they use their risk management, and how they use their trade management. And it's a juggling act. Like, do I take the money? Do I let it ride? What's my chart telling me to do? What's my money management telling me to do? Do I continue trading or do I stop? Once again, what does my money management tell me to do? What does my risk management tell me to do? Now, lately, the past couple of weeks, I decided that maybe even longer, that I was probably experiencing some trade fatigue after about 4 hours. Not as young as I used to be. So I just say, you know what, if I hit my goal, if I hit that 2% per day, just quit. Just stop. Or if I hit the 4 hour mark, usually for me it's about 4 or 5 hours. So about 9 o'clock my time is 12 o'clock East Coast time. That's when the big boys are at lunch. So it's like, hey, it's time for me to take a break. I can come back in an hour or two if I haven't hit my 2%, if I see an opportunity, but let's just let the brain rest, the eyeballs rest, do something different, recharge my batteries, and then come back. Because guess what? There's going to be another trade set up for me to enter. It always happens. It's not like I don't think I can go an hour and not see a setup. Unless I'm looking one direction and price is moving opposite. So if I'm looking for a long and price keeps going down, yeah, I might have to wait an hour or two. One of my simple rules, rule of thumb was never trade against the H1 candle color, but I've dropped down to the M30, as I mentioned before, simply because M30 has the highest rate of covering, where, and you can see it in this candle. This high was above the top of this green candle, and this low is below the bottom of this green candle. In other words, in this particular case, this is a H1 cover, but you can see here M30, this isn't really the best time of day to be trading that, but there's just a lot of covers. So, because what you don't want to do is, if H1 is red, but the M30 at the bottom of the hour turns green, you don't want to be shorting against that M30. It has to be the same color, has to be red. Just little tricks like that. And, that's one of the reasons why I like to use multimeters, so I can look, just look up top right and I can see what's going on real quick. I don't have to flip charts or anything. I can see, look at those reds. Okay, so I should stay short, or if I'm looking for a long, sit on my hands. And that's hard to do sometimes because, we want to get in there and trade. We looked at the year-to-date accumulated range, no changes. And here on the trade reminder, monthly, the buyers still have strong control, price above the upper wick zone or above the monthly open. The monthly pivot says to sell, though. I'm going to fade the pivot. So, if we cross that monthly open, that's when it's time to start really shorting. We've already pulled back off the high on the month. Actually, this is not the monthly chart. This is the monthly. You can see we've pulled back off of that high. So, fellow traders, I hope you had a fun and safe weekend. I hope Walmal's feeling better so we can come back and always have fun chatting with him, making the videos for you traders. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. Somebody suggested that if people leave comments, YouTube likes to see engagement. And just remember and never forget, it's not what you trade, It's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks. This is the Rumpled One, over and out.